What's up, everybody? It's Carpo here, and drop a little bit of knowledge about a few terms that I hear a lot more these days, and I thought people might want to know a little bit more about them. There's three terms. There's ethos, pathos, and logos. Many of you have probably heard the word logos recently. It's used a lot more frequently than it used to be. Logos has many meanings, but it is the word or the reason, the path of reasoning that allows one to come to a conclusion. It takes many forms, whether archetypes or literal, but it basically means the reasoning aspect of an argument that allows you to prove or disprove it. So there was a documentary a while back called Ethos. It was actually hosted by I can't remember, Woody Harrelson, actually. And you hear that word a lot more. You hear about the ether, and you hear the word ethereal, and then there's ethos. Well, ethos is a form of argument. Now, in Aristotelian philosophy from Aristotle, you have there's mythos and logos. Let's leave that totally out. Let's talk about the three main ones. When you have the logos, so the reason, it's the path to which you argue something that shows this is the evidence to which I have to present to show that this is true. So in an argument, the ethos is the state which has to do with ethics, has to do with the ethics of the person presenting the information. So the ethos has to do with who is presenting the information. Do you respect or value their opinion? And does it contribute anything to the discussion that's worth listening to? And I see, the reason why I find this important is because I look around and I see examples of this all the time. Poor ethos. When we have a person who's screaming that what they're saying is true, what I'm saying is true, what I'm saying is true, but they've said either a whole bunch of false things before that, or they've been proven wrong a bunch of times, or more commonly, you just don't know the person, and you can't really respect a person's opinion if you don't know where they're coming from, or what they've said in the past. So, what is it? See, it's a brain fart. That's what always happens to me. Pathos, sorry. The pathos would be the emotional catering to the person. So, first you have you have to cater to a person's emotional state. So, like the news does this all the time. You see it in the media. You see it when a person's getting upset with another person and they're bringing in emotional things that are really irrelevant to the discussion. So, when a person's presenting information, you have the ethos, which is who is this person, what are their ethical values, why should I believe them, who are they to present this? And the pathos is, how is this person catering to my emotion? And this usually has to do with the media plays on people's fear, they play on people's happiness. This is a very common theme. Governments and media do it all the time. Politicians do it consistently when they're doing their speeches. This is a very good example of it. So then there's the logos. And the logos is, what is the information itself? Because if the person is very ethical and the information they're presenting really moves you, there's still the logos to deal with, as what is the information and why should it be believed, and what is the reason, the path of reasoning to come up to this conclusion. And it takes all three to make a good discussion. A person has to have some grasp on ethics to make sure that their conclusions that they're drawing are valid and that they're not based on subjective opinions or personal grief in their lives. Many of the decisions we make are very hasty because they're based on us thinking a certain way. So, but the emotional state is the one that they play on the most. makes the if you can't get a person's emotions riled up, then it's really hard to get them to listen. You have to grasp a person, and you have to have something to say that makes them want to act on it. So whenever a group is formed for or against something, it's based on that emotional state. So capturing a person's feelings is really important. But I think that if I were to say the most important one, I would say that the logos is definitely the most important one. Regardless of who's presenting the information, even if their ethics are bad, if you can do the research and look into the logos a little bit, you can find if that information is true or not, regardless of the emotion that they hold behind it. So that's all I got to say on that, I guess. I just wanted to get that out there, because it's interesting stuff. This threefold argument, part: the person, the emotion, and the information. And there's always one thing or another lacking, it seems. Not always the same thing, but different people. Sometimes I have an argument and I just don't have much emotion behind it. I'm just like, well, this is what I believe, but I don't really feel that strongly towards it, and it loses some luster. Other arguments that I really feel strongly towards, but I really have no evidence, so the logos is missing. But the one thing that I have to be consistent with is the ethos. I have to have a good ethical standing in order to make sure that my logos is reasonable. So, namaste, everybody. Have a great day.